Welcome to the discussion on Windows Mobile. Windows Mobile is a mobile operating system like Android and iOS. Windows Mobile operating system is available on the devices that are manufactured by the Microsoft and other vendors. We will briefly discuss about how to develop a mobile app for the Windows Mobile environment. The tools that we use for developing mobile apps for Windows mobile devices are different, and the steps that we are going to follow are different when compared to the development of mobile apps for other platforms. The development environment for developing a mobile app for Windows mobile devices will be Visual Studio, and Visual Studio is available for the Microsoft Windows environment. It can be downloaded and it can be installed. There are different versions of Visual Studio, and some versions are freely available and some versions are to be purchased. Now, you can see the URL which can be used to download and install Visual Studio on your machine. It is directly from the Microsoft website, and it is visualstudio.microsoft.com, and you can see the mobile app development section on the Microsoft website from where the Visual Studio can be downloaded. So, Visual Studio is the primary development environment for developing mobile apps for devices which run Windows Mobile as their mobile operating system. As I already said earlier, that whatever mobile app you want to develop, you need to decide on which platform you need to deploy it. Now, let us see how it is possible to build the first mobile app for the Windows mobile devices. It can be done by just following the steps that are given as part of this particular URL. It is codeproject.com, and the detailed URL is visible on the screen, and once you click there, you will be taken through a series of steps, and once those steps are followed and you are through with the development of first mobile app for the Windows mobile operating system, and you can readily deploy your app on the real device that runs the Windows mobile or on an emulator that runs on the device where you developed this particular app. Let us briefly see the steps that are used to develop the mobile app for the Windows mobile operating system. As a first step, we have to install the Visual Studio, then we have to create a new smart device project in Visual Studio, and it is done in Visual Studio Form Designer. So, once Visual Studio is installed, we have to go to the Visual Studio Form Designer, we have to create a new smart device project in the Visual Studio. So, the word smart device project is used because mobile devices are the smart devices, and we are developing the mobile app for the mobile devices, and then we have to add the functionality for our application. Different apps have different functionalities. There are apps that are having functionalities which we never imagined. For example, consider some apps such as iTranslator, Swiggy, Ola Cabs, and there are a large number of apps that are developed with wide ranging functionalities which we do not even imagine. My suggestion is that developing a mobile app is something which you need to think of only when you have some app in your mind to develop. So, think of an app that you want to develop and deploy, and then start developing it. And whenever you are thinking of an app, give enough of time to your imagination that you will be getting wonderful ideas about the behavior of that mobile app. So, it is possible to add a wide ranging functionalities to the app which no one had imagined earlier. Then we have to build the mobile app, then we have to deploy it. Building can happen on the device where this particular mobile app has been developed, but deploying can take place either on the real mobile device or on the device where it was developed, and ultimately it has to be run, and which will be a test for it to run successfully. And once you have run it successfully and whatever is visible on the screen, once it is as per your requirement, then we can say that you have run your first mobile app on the Windows mobile device successfully. Now, though there are steps wherein you are taken through and the first mobile app can be run, there are several things which you will be doing in between. One of the most important thing is device emulator and its manager. So, you have two things, one is the device emulator, the other is device emulator manager. Let us have a look at various steps that are to be followed to use this particular device emulator and the corresponding device emulator manager. Use the device emulator that is part of the Visual Studio. Set the device emulator properties. Use the device emulator in combination with the cellular emulator. When I am using the word cellular emulator, I mean it is your mobile simulator. Set up connection through cellular emulator, and then you can start and send receiving the SMS messages. Then control the device emulator with a device emulator manager. Save the device emulator configurations for the later use. If you do not save, again you have to configure for whenever you are using it. So, it is always good to save the device emulator configuration, because if in case you are having any intention to use the same configuration for use at a later stage. Use the device emulator to test different security configurations. Security is very important and your mobile app is expected to meet the security standards that are laid out by the corresponding mobile operating systems manufacturer. If not, you will not be able to publish your mobile app on the corresponding device. Then automate the device emulator manager. Use the basic WinForms for the mobile app development for the Windows Mobile. Then add the custom controls and use GPS hardware. Start connecting to databases from Windows mobile apps. This is a very important step, because normally mobile apps, they are self sufficient, they do not connect to the databases, they show you a location, they show you until the point where a particular consignment had reached, etc. But mobile apps are also possible that they connect to the databases, and you can replace your PC, laptop and other devices with your mobile, and you can do everything using your mobile. Under such circumstances, the mobile app should be in a position to connect to the databases. So, once the custom controls are added and GPS hardware is used, start connecting to the databases from the Windows mobile apps. Implement the device security. Again, device security is very important. Test and install the application on the Windows mobile device. So, these are the different steps that are to be followed to develop, deploy and run a app for the Windows mobile platform that is running on the Windows devices. Thank you very much.